Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Back to a huge rating announcement with Kurt. Kurt, I want to kick it off. Like, I saw a lot of titles. I want to know what you really wanted it to be. And I know when you do a halt, you got to pass iRock. They got to give feedback. I'm reading off Stockwatch has a good laugh. Q Media pats back for Q India viewership ratings. And then, I see here
Let me
Q
see
India
that.
breaks previous record. What did you want it to say?
Yeah. Well, it was actually the word was shatters, but they didn't like that either. So I think we ended up with breaks. Uh, yeah, I mean, look, people wonder about these halts, et cetera. Just real quick explanation. This news comes out in the middle of the night, our time.
Yeah. 2
And
a.m. Eastern, I
yeah,
think
2 a
originally,
about
right?
but yeah, around 2 a.m. Eastern. And so, look, honestly, we were expecting a solid uptick in our numbers, but not anything close to this. I mean, not even close. So
Wait,
there
what,
wasn't
what were we were kind of, I know last week before none of us knew, and we were like, well, if it hits 20, this will be crazy. And
yeah,
here we are
exactly.
at 46. So
Exactly.
wow.
I didn't want to kind of, all internally, all of us were kind of like, okay, well, let's come on 20, 20, 20. I think we can get there. And, but we're still nervous because you never know. And obviously, obviously, we've struck a nerve. Here's the blow, here's the mind-boggling. I didn't even put it in the release. Here's the mind-boggling stat. Well, there's two mind-boggling stats. The first one is our GRP number and our impressions number was 3 times larger than MTV, Bindos, and Zoom combined. Combined. Those three channels did not bring in on a combined basis the viewership and GRP number that we did last week. That's how stunning this is. In addition to that, here's the real stunner, and this is the one that is scary in a way, but also the most exciting. We talk a lot about TSV, time spent viewing. What that means is when you get somebody coming in, they count you for, I got to find this out. I'm not sure if it's a minute or 2 minutes is when you get counted on the bark ratings. If you go onto the channel, I think it's you last 2 minutes, then you get counted. Then with TSV goes up, that helps your bark number. Okay. Our TSV, which has been double MTV and triple Zoom and Bindos, et cetera, at around 60. It's hit as high as 70, even 70 plus, was 113 minutes. That's our average. That stands for average time spent viewing per session. That means people were going on our channel and staying there for 2 hours. That's insane.
Crazy. Well, hey, okay, let's we gotta take this forward. So we always kind of use the baseball analogy, and wow, it seems like you hit a grand slam in the end of the third inning here. Everyone's like, oh, talk to us about revenues. I gotta ask, and I know it's touchy, I know public company stuff. Is your phone ringing off the hook? Like, what's happening?
I mean, look, first of all, just on a B2B basis of just people in the business that I've known as we've been working over there for the last 3+ years. I mean, my message, my WhatsApp and everything else was buzzing off the hook yesterday because people were, again, this is no secret. We already emerged from being kind of a stealth little, the little engine that could when we hit 13 last week. Now we are. I mean, I think you and I spoke last week, if I recall correctly, you and I spoke about a company called Big Magic, which is owned by Z, which is one of the largest media companies in India. It's an Indian-based company. Big Magic is a major channel for them. It does about 30 to 40 GRP. Last week, it did 29 GRP. We did 46. We clearly took audience away from Big Magic. You and I spoke last week about, God, we might be able to go after Big Magic next and because we were thinking 20, maybe, if we really friggin' keep going like a rocket ship. So this is unprecedented and extraordinary. And to answer your question specifically, yeah, the agencies and brands are calling. The agencies and brands that wouldn't return our call are now proactively calling us. And so that's one aspect. Here's the other thing that people have to understand. is based on your GRP and channel rating. That's how much also affects how much people will pay per. In India, it's based on 10 seconds. Even though an ad might not run 10 seconds, it might run 30 seconds. It's based on 10 seconds of advertising for what they call FCT, free commercial time, but it's sold in 10-second increments. So that 10-second increment that it, 4 or 5 GRP might have been 200 rupees. At 10 to 15 rupees might be 600 or 800 rupees. At 46 GRP is over 1,000 rupees. There's a huge difference there. So it's not just so the revenue generation goes up with the rating impact. And so we're going to, we're already trying to figure out how much we're going to drive in April, which already we know will be way beyond anything we were projecting. That's going to carry over into May, et cetera, et cetera. What we obviously don't know is we don't know, is this sustainable? Will we dip down a little bit, or will we keep going? I mean, nobody expected us to hit 46 GRP. That's nuts. So next week, is it going to be 50? Is it going to be 55? Or is it going to be 35? I have no idea. We just don't know.
Yeah. Well, extremely interesting. You comment in the press release and you say, hey, next step, revenue. So, let's say inning 4, and that's awesome. And, I hope we're able to see some good updates coming. I know you can't guess, but hey, congratulations to the team. Pat on the back, as Stockwatch says in their title. Anything else you wanted to kind of comment about this? Again, wow, incredible. Round up to 50. We were talking again. I can't believe 6 months ago, 4 months ago, we were talking about you guys getting to 1, and
Yeah,
here we
I
are.
mean,
And
people
and
have
you
to
have a
real
chart there. Crazy.
people have to realize there's like 700 or 800 channels on these services in India. Okay, most of those channels never get beyond 2. Okay, they don't, because there's just lots of channels and they're fragmented by language, by audience, etc. We made the decision to play in what's called the Hindi GEC marketplace, general entertainment channels. Okay, there are no youth-oriented general entertainment channels to the extent that we're a youth-oriented channel. That's MTV, Bin DOS, Zoom. They're called. There is no youth entertainment channel sort of official thing in India. So we're competing against the major mass market, massive networks that have been there for 20 or 30 years on television, that get 100 GRP. That's like a tiny sliver of the segment of television channels in India, and these companies are delivering huge huge revenue numbers.
Yeah.
So this is the flagship. These would be the flagship channels of Star, which is owned by Disney, of Sony, of Viacom, of Z, and we are like Viacom. One of their big channels is called Colors Rishte. I don't know exactly, I don't remember right now, but I think like last week it did like 58, something like that. We did 46. I mean, we're like, it's amazing. And these are companies that are generating real dollars with expenses against what they're doing programming wise, et cetera. So the indication, and it's only the first 2 weeks of April, but the indication is that we are striking a nerve with our programming. Striking a nerve with the programming translates to ratings. Ratings translates to dollars and revenue and rupees. And that's the path we're on right now. And we're already probably looking at an April that would be at a minimum 2 times and probably right now 4 times greater on a revenue basis than what we were originally anticipating.
Wow. Crazy. Well, and obviously, I look forward to we'll be able to give some updates revenue wise. But I wanted to talk. So, we said the second inning was distribution. The third inning was raising the GRP number. What's the fourth inning to you? And just kind of, I guess, what's success in the fourth inning to the Q? I mean, I'm assuming it's
It's
revenue, sign
Yeah.
some big, hopefully some bigger ad deals than previously. What's your kind of fourth inning outlook?
Look, all of us, our heads are spinning right now a little bit because this is, unexpected. Let's put it that way. We hoped, You know, we didn't stumble into this. This has been premeditated execution. There's no doubt about it. Could we have anticipated it was going to work at this level? No, I don't think anybody. It's like every rock guy who writes a song, you know, hopes it's going to be a #1 record, but that usually doesn't happen. And you know, I was talking to a buddy of mine from the music business, you know, early this morning who saw this news, and I said to him, I said, it's like when a band gets a #1 single, it's not the money that's just made off that single. It's that the band's identity rises up. It's that they start to sell albums where money comes in, that they start to sell hats and t-shirts with their band's name on it, and where they start to sell concert tickets. And it's the aggregate of all that stuff that happens when you have that kind of thing. That's exactly what's happening for us right now. And that's what the fourth inning is all about. It's about now let's solidify our base. Let's solidify. Look, I can tell you right now, we would be very happy if we could solidify in the 30, 35 GRP range for the remainder of 2021. Okay, we'd be extremely happy, and that would work really well for us from a revenue perspective going forward. With that said, we're also right now in the mindset of going, hey, 46, how about 70? Let's go. That's where we're at right now. What we're all talking about internally is how do we get to 70 and be right next door to the biggest channels in India? Why not? You know, why not? And nobody thought we could get here, so why not go there? And so that's kind of where our mindset is. So there's I guess I'll call a baseline of hanging in that probably at the very low end, 25 to 35. I mean, the truth is, you know, you and I talk a lot. When we made this whole move on to free dish and when we did all this, our real hope was that we were going to kind of solidify our ratings in the 20 to 25 range over the course of the remainder of this year. We'd climb our way up to 20, we'd kind of get there and we'd hang in there. Some weeks we might bounce up. I mean, these ratings are volatile, they'll go up and down. But now that we've seen that kind of a spike, now it's all about, can we hold on to that audience? Can we hold them? You know, can we somehow keep them? Which means we got to pour more programming in, which means we got to do more stuff. And the final thing I'll say about that is keep in mind, this has happened with none of the brand capital dollars that we brought that in to spend on marketing and work with Times of India Group as our partner to build the brand. We have not spent a rupee of that yet. This is all organic. This is all organic. And that's amazing.
Scary. Well,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, here I want to leave it with something. I gotta ask. I'm reading the Telegram, reading the groups. When can we expect hopefully some revenue stuff?
I think uh look, first we've got to close, lock, and load some, you know, major brands and advertisers, and we're working furiously on that as we speak. And those conversations are a lot more productive now than they were even at, you know, 4.4. So we're in a different league. We're in a different ball game now. I mean, it's sort of like if we were playing, because it's we're going to beat to death the sports analogies. You know, if we were in the high end of the minor leagues as we were pushing up against those music things, now we're in the majors. We're in the NHL, the MLB, the NFL. Name your you know sports brand. That's where we are now. And it's both exhilarating and terrifying in some ways at the same time. You know, it's like, wow, okay, whew, that happened really fast. Um, but we're prepared for it. We're ready to go. We're capitalized, as everybody knows now. And now it's about growing. Fourth inning, revenue, 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 revenue. Oh, and revenue. You know, everybody knows. Everybody knows that's what it's about. The reason I point out the ratings thing is that if you want an indication of where our revenue's going, look at our ratings.
Got it. Well, hey, that's a good way to leave it. You know, obviously, Kurt, thanks so much for doing these. I know a lot of people love watching them, and thank you. You know, congratulations to yourself and the team. Good pat on the back again. And hey, looking forward to some revenue updates hopefully soon. So, Kurt, thanks so much for joining, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, exciting times ahead. All right, thanks, Jason.